Good evening, everyone. So, in today's video, I'd like to just kind of say how to find simplicity and intensity and purpose. As I'm doing this, I'm reading this. So, yeah, that's the big question. How do you find simplicity in intensity and purpose? Okay, so, well, this is kind of a vague question, or rather, it's like, what is intensity and purpose? Because in my experience, I'm, well, many people have told me that I'm quite intense. I'm because usually people expect me to be that nice guy, friendly, who's always easy to talk to, or rather a good listener and all those things. But um, I don't really reveal things until much later, or rather, they don't realize that it's like I have a lot of, I guess, up till today, a lot of expectations, and like everybody else, of course. But what I mean by this is basically intensity and purpose to me, at least, is that whole. It sounds a little morbid, but knowing that tomorrow you could like die, and what are you doing? What are you doing today, right? What are you, or even like I mean, it's all about doing my best. So at least that's how I've always seen it, and I've always told people that um, it's easy to kind of, well, maybe not easy to find what you want, or rather knowing what you want, but for me, it's I've always known how and why I want things, like those that kind of lead to a certain direction. Again, purpose, right? So when I was younger, I've always wanted to. I knew, or rather, I knew that I wanted things that were not only exciting but had sort of meaning behind it. So, for example, like I got into, being as a language teacher, so I got into languages because I thought, oh, I would do music, but I thought I was being practical. I said, let's do let's do languages because it's something that I know I'm good at. Um, but it all started from this curiosity that it's like, oh, it's interesting. It's like it's cultural. It's what usually why people are interested in languages, especially but when I was younger, I knew that I was interested in languages, or rather culture per se, because it was like different. It was different from my own. It was different from what I grew up with. Like my first interest was actually Cantonese, to be honest, and then it went on to Japanese, and so forth and so on. We'll talk about that another time. But it's really about knowing that when you have an interest, it's like you just go for it. Um, of course, there's fear behind it, but in my experience, I just let it come to me. So, how do you find simplicity, intensity, and purpose? Well, simplifying it is just letting it come to you, really. So, it's kind of following that intuition and instinct. To me, it's actually kind of two of the same thing, or two sides of the same coin, kind of like, intuition and instinct. And simplicity doesn't always mean that it's like, it's the easy way out. And this applies to my being a language teacher. So a lot of times you'll see like, with the whole system, like school systems, education system, there's always been about, oh, let's just teach them grammar. Let's just teach them this. Let's do this exercise. But who's benefiting from that? The teacher is benefiting from it because they don't have to do a lot of work. But it doesn't work that way. You have to cultivate that sort of, I guess, your certain like a skill. And one of the things I noticed is that when I became a teacher back in 2013, it was just like I was just going with the flow, or not the flows. I was going with the standard, or rather the what I was just taught, all those things. But then I realized that it's like, I'm not helping people. I'm not, they're not really, excited about it. I'm not getting people. I'm not connecting with anyone. So I simplified it. I changed my teaching style, more on the style. It's not about style. It's not about teaching for me. I started becoming more aware that, I need to be a guide rather than a teacher. So simplicity doesn't mean the easy way out, because in my experience, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You can make excuses all you want, or we can do that all you want. Sorry, I'm not trying to point fingers or anything. But, I used to do that, and it's just, you have to develop your own, I guess, skill set. I don't know. Like, it starts with yourself. What does it mean for you to be a teacher? Are you just there because you want to share knowledge? Or are you there because, is it about you? Is it about your ego? Or is it about all of us? Because, it's, I've had experiences, a lot of experiences where I kind of still pushed it, even with like language acquisition. I kind of sometimes like I push it, and it's just like, no, I can't push that. Whether it's a method or not a method doesn't matter, right? Because I mean, to me, it isn't a method. To me, it's all about being natural. To me, it's about what we did. We have language acquisition. We were born with this natural ability to acquire, to pick up things. It's intuition, it's instinct, right? So, compassion is really a part of this, right? Put yourself in really in their shoes. Empathize. I know there are people out there who are so-called, like, I guess you can say, narcissistic or lower empathetic abilities, but honing that is one of those most important things. It doesn't just apply to teaching. It doesn't apply to just languages. It applies to everything. As humans, we need to connect, and I'm still learning it. So it's a work in progress. I guess, yeah, or rather, work in process. But anyways, the point is, it's still happening. So, and it really worked for me because it's like, um, when I started simplifying things, because I realized like, oh, wait a second, I need to focus on what I can give. Being a teacher is a service. And whether you're talking about spirituality or religion, it doesn't matter. The point is, it is a service. You're helping other people. If you're just there to, this is my knowledge, I'm a teacher, I have this degree, I have this degree, that's crap. It doesn't help, right? So, and speaking of intensity, though, it's just, I come off a little more intense this time because I wanted to kind of clarify it. It's kind of just, it just came to me. It's like, oh, it's an idea. I was like, oh, okay. So, the question I wanted to pose for this one, I don't think I posed in any questions from the previous videos, but what do you feel or think intensity is? 'Cause I'm kind of curious about that one. A bit of correction, by the way. I'm going to allow comments from now on. I realized, I don't want comments because I'm avoiding it. So I have to really face those and say, people might disagree, people might agree. That's not what's important. The point is, are you being natural? So anyways, my question was that. So the question was, what do you feel or think intensity is? So leave in the comments below if you have any questions, or you want to just share whatever your thoughts are on intensity and purpose and all that stuff. It's very Plutonian, but yeah, link in the comments below. Share or like if you want to do, subscribe. Okay, so like usual, thank you for listening and have a nice day.